Welcome to Structure Fishing. As Buck Perry says, knowledge is the key to fishing success. Structure Fishing is a show that is packed with fishing knowledge. Regardless of your skill level or where you fish or what you fish for, you will learn something on each show that will help you catch more fish. We'll take you on the water and into the classroom. Let's see what we have for you on today's show.
Coming up later on HLS News, what's more popular in playing basketball and football combined? Stay tuned for that story and more later on in the show.
We have a great classroom session coming up. Later in the show, we'll be talking about one of the most misunderstood, misinterpreted subjects, structure. We're going to set you straight on what the true definition and meaning of structure is. But first, we're going on the water to the Petenwell Flowage in Wisconsin. The Petenwell Flowage is the second largest lake in Wisconsin and is a walleye factory. We'll be joining my son Casey, who's really tying into them.
This is a deep break line. On the top it's 15 and it even goes down to 30 feet. Fishing for walleyes with crankbaits. Oh, and it's another Petenwell walleye. I think it's a walleye because we're fishing for walleye. This is a great lake for walleye. Everybody usually fishes for walleye. Sometimes you can get snags on some trees. Yep, it's a walleye. Ooh, yep. Nice Petenwell walleye. Man, another walleye. These are just, oof. They're big. Oof. Yep, here's another. Oh, just came off. Man. Usually they just gobbled it, so now they shake off like that, so you gotta watch out for the hooks. Got the net right beside me. This is a break line, and 15 on the top, and it goes almost to 30 feet. This is a big one. If you don't get your lure right on the break line, you don't catch them. Maybe I could just do the opposite. Yep. Ooh, and that is a good walleye. Really good walleye. This is a big fish. See what this is? Probably a walleye. Oh, oh, that's a big one. Big one. That is a big walleye. That might be the biggest one I caught. Man, I'm feeling good about this. Real good about this. Man, he put up a good fight. Here's the fish that we caught. It's 23 inches, and he is over the slot limit, so we gotta let him go. That is a big fish. Oh. You gotta put your lure right on that break line to get the walleye. It's evening now, so we're gonna get them. It was a morning bite, so we think they're gonna go in the evening, and so far the cuckoo. Oh. That is a nice walleye. Nice. They're on now. We caught most of them up there. Oh. Another nice walleye. That's another nice walleye.
He started the modern-day era of freshwater fishing. He is known as the father of structure fishing. His discoveries and teachings have brought pleasure and success to millions of fishermen who never even heard his name. He was inducted into the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame and the Bass Hall of Fame. He is Buck Perry, founder of the National Spoonpluggers of America. The National Spoonpluggers of America continues on today. It is an educational organization comprised of some of the best structure fishermen and clubs across America. The National Spoonpluggers of America's non-competitive, supportive atmosphere is focused on sharing and helping each other, and where fishing is still a family sport. For a $30 yearly membership to the National Spoonpluggers of America, you will receive a bi-monthly newsletter that contains articles by certified instructors who are experienced and intimately familiar with the techniques to help you catch more fish. Receive access to back issues. Receive Spoonpluggers of America boat decal and patch. Receive an autographed portrait of Buck Perry. A copy of Buck Perry's Basic Fishing Guidelines. You will be invited and welcomed to attend networking events and outings held all over the country. At these outings, you will have opportunities to learn from the best there is, to ask questions and get real answers. You will receive a directory and have access to members and clubs across the country. As Buck says, knowledge is the key to fishing success. Start your knowledge now and become a member. Log on to www.nsoa.info to join.
Hey, welcome to the classroom. Today's subject is structure. Structure is a very common term used in fishing nowadays. Buck Perry was the one that coined the word structure and gave it its original meaning and definition well over 50 years ago. Since then, many fishermen have put their own twist on it, and many have lost what the true meaning and definition of structure is. We're going to clear that up for you right now. When we use the term structure, we are referring to the bottom of the lake. The reason the term structure is used in that bottom is because the fish don't use the entire bottom, just certain sections of the bottom. The areas of the bottom the fish use we call structure. Structure is the shape or features of the bottom that is different from the surrounding area. That's very important and worth repeating. Structure is the shape or features of the bottom that is different from the surrounding area. Let's take a look at some of the most common types of structures. A bar. A bar is the most common type of structure you'll find. A good indication of a bar present could be a point in the land or at the mouth of a bay or feeder creek. Bars come in all shapes and sizes. Some are short, others are long. Some can be narrow, others can be wide and flat. Some can have a couple of fingers or points on them, while some can have many fingers or points. Next structure is a hump or underwater island. Like bars, humps come in all different shapes and sizes. Some lakes and reservoirs have many humps, some have few or none. The next type of structure are man-made structures. They are more commonly found in reservoirs and man-made lakes. Some of the most common types of man-made structures are submerged roadbeds, causeways, dams, and breakwalls. Fish use structure when they become active and they move or they migrate towards the shallows. They use paths or migration routes when they move on structure. These paths or migration routes are in the form of breaks and break lines. This is the key to where the fish will be found on structure, the breaks and the break lines. A break line is where you have a break on the structure, and as the word suggests, it doesn't happen in one spot, but a line. This line may be uneven and vary. The definition of a break line is where you have an increase or decrease in depth, either sudden or gradual. An example of a break line would be the edge of a channel, the edge of a hole, brush line, or a weed line. Some break lines are very obvious, while others can be found by only a few fishermen. Breaks. Breaks are objects that are found on the bottom. A lot of fishermen mistakenly call breaks structure. Remember, we said structure was an area of the bottom that is different from the surrounding areas. Breaks are objects that are found on the bottom. Some examples of breaks could be a pile of rocks, a boulder, brush pile, sunken boat, a stump, etc. Breaks and break lines on structure are very important, as this is the key to where the fish will be found. When fish move or migrate on structure, they will either pause or stop at a break on the structure. How far the fish move and how long the fish stop or pause is determined by the weather and water conditions that are present at the time of the movement. Let's take a look at some examples of breaks and break lines. Here's a picture to show you some break lines may have a slight change in depth, while others may have a great change in depth. Looking at the first break line, we have a more or sudden increase in depth starting at 12 feet, then it starts to flatten out at 15 feet. We would say we have a 3-foot break at 12 feet. The next sudden increase in depth is at 26 feet. Here we have a rapid increase in depth until it starts to flatten out at 40 feet. As you can see, some break lines may have a slight increase in depth, and some break lines may have a large increase in depth. Some structures may be made up of a single break line or multiple break lines. In either case, the very last break line into the deepest water in the area, we would call this the drop-off. The drop-off is an important break line to remember, as when the fish leave their deep water sanctuary, this will be the first place they make contact on the structure. And the first spot they hit, we would call the contact point. A very important thing to remember. There are many types of lakes and reservoirs, but they all have one thing in common: fish and structure. A fish is a fish. They are all the same instinct for survival. They are the same regardless if they are north, south, west, or east. Structure in the way fish use them has not changed. Once you understand how fish use structure, you'll feel at home fishing on any body of water. Not all structure will hold fish. Some are much better than others. We've covered a lot in the last few minutes. We have just touched the surface when talking about structure. Stay tuned for future classroom sessions when we'll take a closer look at structure and go over why some structures are better than others and what makes a structure very productive. For more information on this classroom subject, as well as any others, check out structurefishing.com/education.
You got to put your lure directly on the break line or you won't catch them. These are, I think, oh. He does not want to go in the iron. Yes! Got him in the tank. That is a nice walleye. We got a double on. Oh no. How are we gonna get them in?
Got a double on. I'm filming Casey, and I'm reeling mine in with one hand here.
Here's mine.
Oh, Casey's got his. All right, get him in. All right, put the rod down. Pick up mine. Just put him down in the boat. Here, see if he's still on there.
He is.
All right. Is he still on there?
Yep. I don't feel the crankbait vibrating.
All right.
If they're a couple feet off the break line, you're not going to catch these big walleyes.
Oh yeah, mine was bigger.
What? Mine was
Careful,
bigger.
careful, get him up. All right.
Nice.
2. That's a school.
It's a school. That's how we do it. That's how structure fishing does it. Fish on! Fish on!
Fish on?
Fish on.
Fish on!
We're hearing reports of a fish on.
Fish on!
Ooh, fish on.
Fish on, fish on, fish on.
Parents, to plan your family's day on the water, visit takemefishing.org.
Hey, Josh, I don't say this often enough, but I think you are a great kid. And you mean the world to me. You know that, right?
When you take them fishing with America's favorite reel, it says a lot. The all-new Zebco 33 family of reels.
Would you like to catch more and bigger fish consistently? Are you tired of all the gimmicks out there? Buck Perry once stated that knowledge is the key to fishing success, not a fancy lure or the latest equipment. For a fraction of the price of a fishing guide, purchase Buck Perry's Guidelines for Fishing Success. This 8-volume home study course will guide you step by step and go over all the mechanics to become a successful fisherman. After completing this home study course, you'll have long-term success that will allow you to feel comfortable on any lake you fish and for any species. For more information and to purchase this home study course, visit structurefishing.com/education.
Now these fish are biting between 2 and 5. We had a morning bite, but oh! This is a big one. Just took a little bit of line out. This is a big one. Yep. Here is another good walleye. You're a couple feet off this break line, you're not going to catch these big walleyes. So we had 2 rods let out, so we had one on another that... We had one on another, so now I think it's a walleye. Oh, it's a catfish. A catfish. You get catfish doing this too, so pretty good catfish. That is a nice channel catfish. I know I said this on day 1, but you gotta get your lure right on that break line to catch these big walleyes. This is a big one. You gotta put your lure right on that break line, or else you won't catch these walleyes. And this is how social fishing does. Oof. That catfish hit pretty hard. Ooh. Man, I thought it would hit on the crank. It's a nice catfish. We got something on this. Hopefully it's a walleye. Remember, you gotta have your lure right on that break line, or else you won't catch fish. In a couple feet away, you won't catch it. Wonder what this is. If it's a walleye, it's a big one. If it's a catfish, oh, is it a walleye? Walleye, walleye, walleye! Yes! That's a walleye. That is a good walleye. Feel pretty excited because it's evening now, so maybe it's an evening bite. So we gotta catch some more of these. Folks, it's tough conditions out here. So you really have to get your lure on that brake line. It's really tough. The waves are big. Hope this is a walleye. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Settle down. Hope this is. That's nice. Walleye from Petenwell. Yep.
Welcome to HLS News, your hook, line, and sinker news. I'm Candace Pierce. America's 40 million anglers are more than those that play football and basketball combined. Fishing also outranks golf, baseball, soccer, and tennis. Out of the 40 million anglers, 8 million of them are women. 26% of the women anglers are from the Midwest. Minnesota has the highest percentage of women anglers than any other state. Women anglers from Wisconsin are 5th on the list. Evinrude, who is owned by BRP, has reinvented the two-stroke outboard with its E-Tech technology. The E-Tech lineup from Evinrude has many advantages over other two-stroke and four-stroke outboards. There is no break-in period, you only need service every 3 years, no oil changes, 195 fewer parts than a four-stroke, less weight than a four-stroke, and the E-Tech outboard is the only outboard to win the EPA Cleaner Excellence Award. No other outboard brand produces less reportable emissions than the E-Tech family of engines. And one more thing, the E-Tech motors are all made right here in the U.S., in Sturtevant, Wisconsin. For more information on E-Tech outboards, go to evinrude.com. Wisconsin has a new state record for the biggest common carp. Zach Stites was with a couple of friends at night boat fishing on Long Lake in Fond du Lac County. Zach saw the fish, took the shot. After a 5-minute battle, landed the carp. It was 46 inches long and weighed in at 59 pounds. Besides getting the record for the largest carp bow fishing, it also beat the hook line record of 57 pounds caught in Lake Wisconsin back in 1966 by Mike Prorock. Mike caught his carp while trolling a Buck Perry spoon plug. And while we were talking about carp, there's been a new world record carp caught in Hungary. Austrian angler Roman Hank caught this world record 100-pound, 4-ounce carp while fishing the Euro Aqua fishery in Hungary. This is the largest known carp ever caught. Well, that's your hook, line, sinker news for today. Thanks for watching.
Before heading to your boat and every time you leave the dock, have all the detailed bottom structure you need to target fish. Offshore humps, ledges, creek channels, roadbeds, shown with the most accurate contour lines from Navionics. And it just keeps getting better with sonar charts. Submit your sonar logs for better local charts. The freshest data every day for your chart plotter and mobile device. View our charts online at navionics.com.
Unlock the power of HDS with your fingertips. The power to find a needle in a haystack. You will outsmart the fish. Get there first with confidence and always stay one step ahead of Mother Nature. Find, navigate, dominate with the new HDS Gen 2 Touch from Lowrance.
XI5 from Motor Guide, a wireless trolling motor engineered for anglers by anglers, delivering key performance attributes with power, toughness, stealthy, quiet operation. And for you control freaks, our optional pinpoint GPS navigation system lets you position your boat precisely where the fish are, instantaneously, accurately, built to earn you bragging rights. Meet the all-new XI5, only from Motor Guide.
Do you find yourself lost on the water? Have you ever looked to see where the other fishermen are fishing? Are you looking to better understand fish movements and how fish use structure? It's a fact that learning to eliminate unproductive water quickly is a major key in fishing success. Do you want to feel comfortable on any lake you fish? Then hire a certified structure fishing instructor today. Jerry and John are certified structure fishing instructors through the Buck Perry Training Center. These CSIs will go out to your lake and teach you proper lure presentation, how to interpret a map, how to find and locate productive structure. They'll give you your own personalized instruction, both on and off the water. Past students include professional guides, tournament anglers, and regular weekend warriors seeking to better understand structure. Both John and Jerry fish the waters throughout the Midwest and beyond. Jerry's home base is Northern Illinois, and John resides in North Central Indiana. Instruction rates vary on distance traveled and days of instruction. Please contact John or Jerry to schedule your own personal instruction.
You gotta get your lure on the break line. You gotta make sure your lure is on that break line because it's tough conditions today. Oh, he's a skier. Nice walleye. Stop our lure right on that break line. We're gonna catch our big one. It's really tough conditions, but we're catching them. We're catching these walleyes. And it's a skier, but might be a big one. So we're right. It's an evening bite. So we're gonna catch a lot of walleyes today.
As you can see, it was a pretty good day in the water. Let's take a look at some of the notes. The weather was improving the third day after a cold front. Our watercolor was slightly stained, no algae bloom yet. And our depth were break lines in the 12 to 17 foot range. Our speed control was moderate at about 2 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the structure we were fishing. For the most part, we were fishing a 15-foot break line that broke into 28 to 30 feet of water. The structures on this lake are pretty big, so we trolled the break lines with crankbaits that would run down about 15 feet. For the most part, these fish were not very active, so as Casey said, we had to keep the lures right on the break line for the best chance to catch these fish. If your lure was off the break line or out of position, you weren't going to catch them. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. For more information on the structures that were fished today and where we caught the fish, visit Fishity for free and send a buddy request to Structure Fishing.